Disney has scrapped plans for a star-studded UK premiere of its live-action Snow White remake, a decision driven by fears of an anti-woke backlash. Hi, I'm Miriam Cates and this is GBN Originals. Now, this story perfectly encapsulates the growing divide in entertainment and culture. It's a move that highlights the increasing rejection of woke ideology by audiences who simply want good storytelling, not political lectures. So what's behind this decision, and what does it say about the state of modern filmmaking? Well, Disney premieres are typically grand spectacles. Think Leicester Square, London, transformed into a glittering stage with flashing cameras, A-list celebrities, and excited fans lining the streets. But not this time. For a film with a staggering £212 million budget, that's one of Disney's most expensive projects this year, there will be no such celebration on British soil. Instead, Disney has opted for a handful of tightly controlled press events with limited media access and restrictions on questions posed to its lead actress, Rachel Zegler. An insider reportedly told the Daily Mail, Disney are already anticipating an anti-woke backlash against Snow White and have reduced the media schedule to just a handful of tightly controlled press events. This is an extraordinary move for a company that once prided itself on being synonymous with global entertainment and cultural influence. So what's driving this decision? Let's start with the controversies surrounding the film itself. From the moment it was announced, this live-action remake has faced criticism from multiple angles, and rightly so. First, there's the casting choice. Rachel Zegler, an actress of Latin descent, was cast as Snow White, a character traditionally described as having skin as white as snow. For many critics, this choice represents yet another example of Hollywood prioritising diversity quotas over staying faithful to the source material. Then there's the storyline itself. Reports suggest that Disney has reimagined Snow White as a modern leader focused on independence and empowerment, far removed from the gentle princess who finds true love in the original tale. The prince? He's been sidelined entirely because apparently true love is now considered problematic. And let's not forget the seven dwarves, or rather their glaring absence. In this version, they've been replaced by magical creatures. Why? Because Disney seems to think that respecting beloved characters is somehow offensive or outdated. These changes represent more than just creative liberties. They're part of a broader trend in Hollywood to inject progressive politics into every aspect of storytelling, often at the expense of quality and authenticity. The controversy surrounding Snow White hasn't been helped by Rachel Zegler herself. In past interviews, she dismissed the original 1937 animated classic as dated and referred to the prince as a stalker. These comments have sparked outrage among fans who view them as disrespectful to one of Disney's most iconic films.
Us blokes hate talking about a little thinning up top, and many of us settle with that balding look, but that wasn't for me, and that's why I went to Elite Hair, the world's leading hair loss clinic, and now I've had over 4,000 new hairs added to this barnet, and very soon I'm going to be rocking some brand new flowing locks. And you can too! So how does it work? Step 1, I sent the team a set of photos of my head. Step 2, I then spoke to one of the Elite Hair staff who looked through my photo submissions and worked out a treatment plan for me. Step 3, Elite Hair then organised accommodation and the treatment. I was at their state-of-the-art treatment centre in Istanbul, and their incredibly kind staff took me through the process, and before I knew it, I was in surgery. Elite Hair and their leading medical experts have specialised in pain-free treatments using the sleep deep method, and they really mean that. I felt incredibly relaxed the whole time, and I haven't felt any pain since. Check out Elite Hair using the link in the description. When you do, Elite Hair will provide you with a free personalised hair analysis. Then you'll join over 100,000 happy patients. Hit that link and start your hair growth journey like I did today.
Social media platforms like TikTok and Twitter have amplified these debates, with hashtags like #NotMySnowWhite trending intermittently since details about the remake began to emerge. TikTok videos criticising Zegler's remarks have gone viral, racking up millions of views from users who feel she fundamentally misunderstands the character she was cast to play. For Disney, a company that relies heavily on nostalgia and goodwill, this backlash is more than just noise. It's a direct threat to their reputation and revenue. So how is Disney responding? By playing it safe. Very safe. Cancelling the UK premiere is just one part of their strategy to avoid negative publicity ahead of the film's release later this month. The company is also limiting Rachel Zegler's media appearances and controlling what questions she can be asked during interviews. This defensive approach signals that Disney knows exactly how polarising this film has become, and how damaging an anti-woke backlash could be for its bottom line. But let's take a step back here, because this isn't just about Snow White. This is part of a much larger cultural battle playing out across entertainment, politics and society at large, the so-called anti-woke movement. The anti-woke movement has gained significant traction in recent years, particularly in Western countries like Britain and America. At its core, it pushes back against what critics see as excessive political correctness or forced diversity in media and corporate culture. In Hollywood specifically, this sentiment often manifests as resistance to remakes or reboots that reinterpret beloved classics through modern lenses, whether that means diversifying casts or updating storylines to reflect contemporary values. For many audiences, these changes represent progress, but for others, and increasingly so, they're seen as an unnecessary tampering with tradition. Take Snow White, for example. Supporters argue that reimagining classic characters for today's world is both necessary and overdue. But detractors say these changes dilute what made these stories timeless in the first place, and they're not wrong. And here lies Disney's dilemma. How do you modernise without alienating your core audience? How do you balance inclusivity with authenticity? These are questions not just for Disney, but for every studio navigating today's cultural landscape. Let me bring in some perspective here, because this isn't just about storytelling, it's also about business. Disney has invested heavily in live-action remakes over the past decade, from The Lion King to Aladdin to The Little Mermaid. While many of these films have been box office hits, they've also faced increasing scrutiny from fans who feel their favourite stories are being sacrificed at the altar of woke ideology. The stakes are high with Snow White. If it succeeds financially, despite, or perhaps because of, the controversy, it could validate Disney's approach moving forward. But if it flops, it might force them to rethink their entire strategy. This debacle should serve as a wake-up call for Hollywood studios tempted to prioritise woke messaging over quality storytelling. Audiences are clearly fed up with ham-fisted attempts to update classic tales with modern political agendas. Disney's fear of anti-woke backlash demonstrates the growing power of viewers who refuse to silently accept the erosion of beloved cultural touchstones. Perhaps this will finally force Hollywood to reconsider its obsession with identity politics and focus on creating genuinely entertaining films that respect source material. Patrick Christis chatted with actor Chun Tan to get his reaction to Disney's new Snow White remake, which has seen controversy for its handling of the dwarf characters.
What's your take on this then? Because my understanding is that you feel a bit disadvantaged as a result of the CGI characters here.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's taken away from people like myself who are professional actors, and these roles are made specifically for us. You know, we've got dwarfism, and it can boost our career, make money to pay for our families, and it's just an opportunity that's taken away from us because they're afraid of stereotyping or being derogatory, which is absolutely not.
Yeah, and this is not just in this film, it's actually happening quite regularly, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, because it came out a few years ago with Peter Dinklage saying that it was being stereotyping, having dwarfs playing dwarfs for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And it's really wrong for people to say that. He's made his career, he started off doing that, and he's made a very big career out of it, and you have to start somewhere, and I think this is a big stepping stone for a lot of people with dwarfism. Yeah,
and look, I suppose in any acting in a way, like, if someone is playing a character of a very tall person in a biopic, you would presumably pick a very tall person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't really see why it's that controversial.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's absolutely pointless. I don't know what they're trying to get at, but I think it's this woke culture. They're afraid of upsetting someone, and, if we didn't want to do it, we wouldn't do it, but it's very well paid, it's a lot of fun, and it's what we love to do.
And you have actually been in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs
Yeah,
previously.
I've been in it twice for pantomime.
Fantastic. And that was you, and you just enjoyed that. I mean, that was, presumably, that gave work to quite a lot of actors with dwarfism.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many actors around the UK and around the world that do it, and it's so much fun. The kids have a great experience, and it's really important for them to be educated, because then they understand that there's different people with types of dwarfism, so they're not, they're not afraid when they see someone like that, because some people grow up and they're like, well, what's up with that person? But they start to understand the differences.
Yeah, and again, it's the kind of people that make these decisions. Disney is quite known for being this hyper woke organisation, but the people that make those decisions, I just wonder if they realise what they're doing. Like, they think they're being kind, don't they? Yeah. But I mean, in your experience, it's not kind, is it?
No, it's not kind. No, absolutely, it's taken away opportunities from people, and it's really, sort of making division between people.
So supposedly now, this is one of the many reasons I think why they are getting a bit of criticism over there at Disney. I mean, you think they probably should face a bit of criticism for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what would you say to kind of TV executives, film executives who are thinking of casting people in these roles who might think, oh well, actually, I'm going to pick an actor who doesn't have dwarfism to play the part of somebody who does have dwarfism, or they're going to use CGI or however they're going to do it. What would your message be to them?
Well, they wouldn't pick someone small to do a tall actor's role, so why not just pick someone that's suitable for the role?
Yeah, indeed. And you've actually been in quite a lot of things. We were just chatting a bit off air there, weren't we? But
yeah.
I mean, you've got quite the back catalogue of things you've been involved in. Do you want to rattle a bit of that off?
Yeah, so I've done the BT advert, so I was a gremlin for that. I was a little gremlin. And I've done the Rings of Power. I've done, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yeah, and I've done dwarf boxing, so a lot of different things.
Can I just ask, do you ever feel exploited? Have you ever felt exploited?
I've never felt exploited not doing acting work, no. No, absolutely. And there's other types of work, there's people are maybe a bit demeaning because I do entertainment work as well, so I'm acting for that, where they're not respectful, but in those instances we just leave because we've taken the payment up front and we leave. If we're not happy with it, we're like, if people are being nasty to us, then we leave.
Yeah, and because so there are obviously like idiots out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Does that affect you at all personally, or is it?
In terms of I think it's more to do with them. Like 95% of people are respectable. They pay you to be there. They want you to have fun. They want you to do the acting work. So in those instances, absolutely fine. But you get a small minority. I guess with any job that you do, you'll get a few customers or a few clients that aren't.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Disney realised that this is a box office flop because of all of this stuff, I'm assuming that you'd put your name into the ring to take part in a live action remake, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, fantastic. Well, look, hey, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you.
At its heart, this debate over Snow White reflects something deeper, a struggle over identity and values in an ever-changing world. For decades, Disney has been synonymous with nostalgia, a place where audiences can relive cherished memories or create new ones. But as society evolves and demands more inclusive representation, Disney finds itself walking an increasingly fine line between honouring its past and embracing its future. One thing is clear, the battle over Snow White isn't just about one film. It's about what stories we tell, who gets to tell them, and how these stories shape our culture. Don't forget to subscribe to the GB News YouTube channel for more.